Now, I said this when we tried the beta together, and today I can officially confirm that yes, Starsand Island is my obsession. And considering it's releasing into early access, I know you have so many questions about what to expect, so I'm gonna be answering all of these questions. By the end of this video, you will know exactly if this is the game for you. A special thanks to Seed Sparkle Lab and Renaissance PR for partnering with me on this video. And in case you're new here and you don't know how we do things on this channel, I only choose to work with companies that will give me complete freedom so I can give you the real tea, everything that you need to know. Oh, and I may or may not have gotten a little bit carried away, filmed over 50 tips and tricks for you, so you can find that video down in the pinned comment. So let's start by talking about the story. We'll keep things spoiler free as always. You are tired of city life and you decide to go back to the island that you grew up in, Starsand Island. It's a very typical story setting for a lot of the farming games that we play, but this is the first point where Starsand Island decides to kick it up a notch because they have a whole cutscene in the beginning and it shows you what life used to look like when you used to live back home, and you see these snippets of growing up with your best friend Solara. By coming back home, you're gonna learn the 5 professions that you can dedicate your time to, and this is all for the overarching story of bringing the community of Starsand Island together and making it a paradise island. And you're gonna realize that this game is not just a regular farming game, it adds so much to the genre. First, you already see the 3D graphics with this gorgeous Studio Ghibli-esque art, and the focus is on enjoying a slow-paced lifestyle. You know, the soft life that a lot of us want to enjoy. But let's take it back a second so I can show you the customization. And yes, you can be either a male or female. The starter customization options are a little bit limited here, but you're gonna unlock more as you progress the story. The color wheel adds an extra oomph because you can use it for your hair color, your brows, your eyes, makeup, and skin tone, which is so good to finally see. You can choose to have each eye look differently. You can add birthmarks, maybe have some piercings. But one thing to note here is that when I was in cutscenes, I don't know why I felt like every time the camera was facing me straight on, it looks like my character doesn't have a nose. So maybe that can be like accentuated a little bit later on. And I always say I would love to see some more luscious curly hairstyles, a little bit like mine. Now, unlike other farming sims, you start your gameplay in summer. This is because there is a festival to enjoy, and in early access, we have the Beach Festival and the Spring Festival. However, the devs say that they are working on a lot more festivals, so I'm excited to see what these are gonna look like. You have the 4 seasons of summer, autumn, winter, and spring, with each season lasting for 28 days. The game time feels like it's well-paced. Sometimes I would stay up till midnight doing work, and other times I manage to finish everything on time. Now, the game wants you to sleep by 2 a.m, otherwise you're gonna pass out, and then you're gonna wake up with half the stamina. And listen to this, if you manage to pass out 3 days in a row, well, good luck, because you're gonna be sleeping for a whole day to recover. And I noticed while playing that this game is very reminiscent of games like the My Time games. You already know that I absolutely love My Time at Portia and Sandrock, and I love that there's also a crossover that we're gonna talk about between Starsand Island. So you have a variety of main quests to complete based on the professions that you get. You can get one or just be greedy like me and get all of them, because you'll know me, I always want to play everything and I want to try everything. But you also have some side quests that can get triggered by talking to someone randomly. For example, the sport quest unlocked when I spoke to Marston. I just saw him on the beach and I was like, hello, and turns out he had a quest for me. You're also gonna find some lost items that you can return to their owner, and you also get commissions in the town's bulletin board, which is gonna give you so many rewards. I highly suggest that you do them, and you're also gonna get relationship points as well. These quests are timed, and the more stars that they have, the more challenging they are. Though expect to run into some quests that require items that you may have not unlocked yet, and this is another place where I will give feedback about. I would love for the developers to either let us know if we have a blueprint before we accept a quest, or the second option, which I would assume is a little bit more difficult for them, which is only render commissions that require items we already know how to craft or acquire. By the way, these are going to refresh every day at 6 a.m. and you can accept 3 in the beginning, and as you progress the story, you can pick up more. So what about the professions? What are they like, and what's your gameplay loop going to be? You have 5 of them to level up, and the tiers are named as follows: apprentice, junior, intermediate, senior, and expert. The professions are crafting, farming, fishing, ranching, and exploration. Each one of them has its own mentor who's gonna guide you. It's a little bit like fantasy life, but it's more expansive in terms of the story elements that's tied into every profession. Let me show you the basics so you kind of know what to expect. So let's start with farming. We have a variety of crops here. Some require fields, while others use planting boxes. You can even unlock things like trellis, however you say that. Heck, you can even have flowers crossbreed. You till the soil, plant, and water by long pressing the action button. Weeds are going to grow on these. It gets a little bit crazy, but then you can use your ranching profession to mitigate this. And of course, the seasons come to play here. We have crops for different seasons, and they have different yields. You can use fertilizer, and I like that you don't have to guess about things. You see here you have these bars that show you exactly when you need to water and when the crops are ready to harvest. Fertilizers vary. Some are gonna speed the time by 8 hours, others are gonna be much more effective and speed it up by 50 hours. The more advanced you get with the type of crops you're using, the more obstacles are gonna come along the way that will hurt your crops. But again, as we said, you can either tackle them with some ranching professions or tackle them yourself. And one last thing, again, I don't want to spoil things too much for you. You do get some unique crops here and there, like these everlasting seeds, which you can harvest forever, or you can get these massive crops, which you can use for different furniture items. And you see how I told you about using ranching to mitigate some of the problems that you have in your farming profession? This again feels a lot like fantasy life because the professions synergize together. Yeah, you can do only one, but I recommend just trying all of them because they really tie into each other and make your gameplay a lot more rewarding. So with ranching, you get different barn animals to raise and breed, and they will help make farming a lot easier. But there's also a whole breeding system where different animals can have different traits, and then you can also unlock some of them as rideable companions when you get close to them. Of course, you're gonna take care of them, take care of their needs. Then we have the angler profession with over 100 species of fish to catch, so you can turn them into food, gift them, add them to your aquarium, sell them, or even build a fish pond that you can add them to. Fishing is very simple, which I love. You simply throw in the line where the fish shadows appear, you wait for a bite, and then you reel it in. You're gonna reel in when the line is colored white. Once it turns into yellow, I suggest to let go so you don't snap the line, and you can use a variety of bait and the research button to see what bait every fish needs. Then we have two of my favorites. You know me, I'm an RPG player through and through, so of course it's gonna be crafting and exploration. Now, crafting is all about, you guessed it, crafting a variety of items which will help make life so much easier for you on the island. From upgrading machines to creating your skateboard, your roller skates, so that you can move faster around the world, to making more complex items and getting blueprints for them. It's really fun to explore. And speaking of that, you can also create furniture so you can decorate your home. Now, all of these require recipes, so you can either unlock them or buy them. And you also have a variety of recipes to cook, so you can give your character more stamina, status buffs that are gonna help you. And before I forget, you can also catch bugs, which has to be one of my least favorite activities in the game right now. It's a little bit tedious, but in my tips and tricks video, I show you a way so you can make it a lot easier. Then we have exploration. This is where combat can be a part of it, or if you don't want to, it doesn't have to. So basically, this is all about deep diving into the moonlit forest, which looks absolutely magical, with every level looking unique. You've got some boss fights to tackle, lots of ore and gems to gather and analyze, and overall you have rare resources to find, which you can then use to craft, for example. And I love how the game rewards your curiosity, because there are so many things that you would not know. Like, you'll just try to do it and voila, you get a reward, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that I could do that. Many of you had a lot of questions about combat, and a lot of you were interested if it's like a lot like Rune Factory. I would say combat is not that strong yet. Hopefully they will work more on it during the early access. So right now it's mostly based on using ranged weapons. You've got your slingshot, and then you can get your bows. And you can switch between your ammo to find whichever is going to be the weakness of the enemy that you're battling, and you can exploit that to your advantage. I feel like combat is pretty easy. I would love it to be more advanced, but if you don't like combat, you can simply deploy the sentry bots and they will do the job on your behalf. All of these professions will progressively get more challenging with more complex quests. They're going to progress the story, and in general, they will make the gameplay more enjoyable. And I want to show you some of the skills that you can unlock which tie into the professions, but first, let me show you a feature that you're going to be using a lot, which is your phone. This in-game phone has a variety of apps. For example, you have the Island app, which is your key to progressing the island. By completing quests, you unlock things like emotes, the ability to take on more resident requests from the bulletin board. You can buy land, access the merchant boat, and even build a houseboat, to name a few. Then you have your Workpedia app, which is where you can see how much you've progressed in each profession. You see, apart from coins, which are your regular in-game currency, you also have these ones, which are called Starsand. You're gonna spend the latter on skills that unlock the further you progress in each profession. So you can choose a variety of skills like this one, which increases your stamina recovery when you're sitting, or this one, which improves your efficiency when chopping wood or mining. And there's already quite a few of them for you to unlock. However, I feel like right now, all of them, when they come together, it just feels a little bit unbalanced. Let me explain. For example, when you reach the senior or expert level, which are level 4 and 5 in crafting, you only have one skill to unlock in each. Whereas when you reach the junior level, which is the second level in crafting, you have 3. Or if you reach the senior level in the angler profession, again, that's the 5th level, it gives you the ability to unlock the rare catch skill that gives you a higher chance to reel in fish. I don't know about you, but I just feel like when I've worked so hard to reach this level 5, I would love to see, you know, a reward that just feels a little bit more incentivizing or like encouraging. But let's talk about this other app on your phone, which is called the Star Note app. And this one has even more tasks for you to complete. And you know what? Overall, I love how much content and tasks and quests you have to complete. You know me, I always love games that just give me direction. I know what the heck I'm supposed to do. And it's just something that tickles my ADHD brain in a way that I'm just like, give me, I want to play more. One more day, please. And then it's just been 5 hours. I mean, that's why we have 40 hours in just a few days. I know. You also want to talk about social life. And I do have a disclaimer about that, which I'm going to address in a bit. But let me tell you everything. So far, I really love how each of them has an in-depth backstory, so, you know, you start to know who they are, who's related to whom, and how each person fits into the overarching story. Why even the heck are they in Starsand Island? Like, it's nice to know their lore. And you can talk to them daily, you can give them gifts, and for now, their romance options have up to 5 hearts that lead to them living with you. So this is the affection system, and you have 5 hearts to reach. I like that they remember what gifts I have given them. They all have their daily routine. Sometimes you're gonna see them at work, other times they're just out and about. Maybe they're at the cafe, just enjoying. They'll take out their phone and look at it. It's just cute to see them feel lively rather than just standing there and doing nothing all the time. And when you play through the professions, it also seems like you're part of this close-knit community where everybody knows everyone, where this person's gonna be like, oh, this person wanted this, and they said that. It's nice. While we have some of the bachelors and bachelorettes already available in early access, we even have Gust and Ginger, who came all the way from my time at Porsche, a game that I adore, and then seems like Fang and Nia are coming from Sandrock, and you already know how I feel about that game. I flippin' love it, in case you didn't know. I love these crossovers. It's just really cool to see. You know what? We also have to talk about quality of life. You see, when you play a farming game and you're now at the grinding stage, I feel like developers have a little bit of a hard time balancing, okay, how are we gonna make this player work hard so that they earn what they're, you know, trying to get, vis-a-vis how can we still make that player feel rewarded, satisfied? All of this time and energy that they're putting into this game is actually worth it. And somewhere in the middle, they start to make regular mechanics so tedious that you as the player just feel frustrated. Well, let me tell you this, Starsand Island knows that their gameplay is the king here, so they are not trying to make things tedious for the sake of it, and thank you so much. First, there are no durability systems for your tools. I hate when games do that. Thank the Lord, you just craft the tool once and you upgrade it when you need to, and we're done. Second, stamina is easily manageable, especially when farming. You're not losing your stamina when you're running and sprinting and whatnot. And when farming, things are made simple for you. You know, actions like watering and harvesting don't take up your energy, and regaining the stamina is pretty easy. You can eat food, you can sit to rest. You know, we're just having fun, and the game game knows that it wants us to have fun. Third, your bag can be upgraded to have a larger capacity. You simply do that as you progress in the game. You're gonna get your hands on more materials and you click this button and voila, you can just upgrade your bag. Number 4 is that you're gonna start with a basic storage and then you get to upgrade it a few times and eventually you're gonna unlock a realm box. And if you wanna just simply move your storage, well, simply put it in your bag. And already from early access, we can name our storage, we can move between them in a click of a button. I would love to see the ability to color them next, or maybe I just haven't reached that yet in my gameplay. And you can craft items without having the ingredients in your bag. Like, your bag is just gonna categorize stuff for you and you can easily sort everything out. Add to that, using the controller to manage your tools and move between them in your hotbar is super quick and easy. You think I'm done? No, I'm not. There's also that system that I really like from Ghost of Tsushima and Yote where you have the wind guiding you to go to your next navigation. Sure, you have your mini-map. Sure, you have the big map as well. But how about we make this even more, you know, cutesy? Let me give you some cute stars. And there you go. You can follow them to your destination. Then on the map, you already know exactly where everyone is, what time shops open and close. You can place up to 99 markers and name them so you remember important places. The map can get a little bit cluttered right now because there's just so much going on, especially in the town center, but hopefully with time they can make it a little bit more, you know, cutesy. And I know you already have seen these. You can traverse the world in so many ways, from using the skateboard to your roller skates, scooters, cars, boats, freaking carriages. It's just so quirky, and this quality of life, like, yes, I don't want to be, you know, putting in so much time in the game because I'm just wasting it doing stuff just a monotonous, tedious, annoying way. Already from, you know, early access, we have these available. We can only go up from here. Plus, I can't emphasize enough how much of an experience this game is. It's not just a farming game. It really feels like a experience that the devs have poured so much love into it. Let me show you. I appreciate these things added here, like opening the windows. Like, I'm just waking up in the game and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna turn on the light. I'm gonna open the door. I'm gonna open the windows. Oh, what? Now I'm gonna go to the town? Well, let me close the door. Ooh, it's bedtime. How about I change into my PJs? Let me see the beautiful sunset. Ooh, I just wanna have a little swim. Look at my little cute footprints in the sand. And you know what? I'm feeling like I want to feel some wind in my hair. I'm gonna use the swing and then take some cute screenshots. I know y'all are gonna eat this camera up. You have so many customization. You can change the time of day, zoom in and out, adjust the contrast, saturation, tilt, and more. And you can switch between handheld mode and taking selfies. Seeing all of this energy and effort, like, how can I sit here and talk to you about the game and like I'm not excited about all of this? This is taking farming games to the next level. Like, little Miss Bubbles would be freaking out if she knew that one day she'll be sitting here and playing a game like this. There are also some must-knows that I think you have to know, especially because this is in early access and you need to know about this. First, so far seems like our save file is going to carry to the full release. So not your demo stuff, but when you play in early access, and I really hope this will be the case in the end, you can carry your save file to the full release. But we have an incomplete gameplay mechanic here, which this would be the bread and butter for a lot of you. For me, I'm usually like, okay, cool if it's here, cool if it's not, but I know a lot of you really care about this, which is romance. So here's exactly what the devs have said in their Discord. They said you'll be able to grow your bonds with the islanders, and yes, at maximum intimacy, you can even share a home together. It's a great way to start your journey with your favorite person. We are still polishing and adding more deep romance content for the full version, but the foundation is already there for you to enjoy. Stay tuned for more surprises. So I'm expecting and hoping for marriage, maybe kids, some more heart events to unlock, and I also would love to see more diversity between our romance candidates. For now, I am struggling a bit to feel like attracted or like, ooh, you know, I want to know this person and that person. So everyone as a whole and as a community, they feel nice to get to know, but characters on an individual level, for me, I haven't really felt like that oomph, you know, like, I need to know you, I need to talk to you, like, let me take you on a date, let me spoil you. I just haven't really felt that yet. If you're new here, we also always talk about motion sickness on this channel, and thank goodness Thank the devs. We're already at a good start. Your girl didn't feel any motion sickness triggers. I was very happy to see the motion blur toggles in the setting, and I would love to see an FOV slider next. Let's roll into some of the issues, some of the things that I really need to see fixed next. So the music is very cute, it's very whimsical, and it's giving fairy tale-like. So you might say, well, that's great news, like what's the problem, Bubbles? Well, the music options are very limited when exploring, so each area will have the same song playing over and over again. At one point I just had to turn it down, and then the music would either suddenly cut off for no reason, or suddenly cut off when I move between areas. So instead of fading, it was a little bit immersion breaking. And a lot of times I will have either multiple tracks playing on top of each other. Some of the sound effects also would be playing on top of each other. I feel like a few of the sound effects could really use a rework, like the bubbles in the Moonlit Forest are really annoying, and the roller skates sound a bit monotonous. Also, some animations need reworking, like the crabs, you know, I just see them always sliding on the beach, or the bees, I don't know, they look very blurry as if like they're shaking too crazy. Many of the NPCs' outfits are just clipping and going hardcore, as you can see here. Some characters suddenly start sprinting, then suddenly walk normally. It kind of reminded me of when I was in school. I'd be like sprinting in the hallway with my friends, but I knew I shouldn't be doing that. So when I see the principal walking, I'm just like, oh yeah, we're just walking here. So they did the same. It felt really funny. And look, I have a pretty solid PC. I'm running an RTX 4070 Super, and still I saw a lot of NPCs and just assets and foliage just popping in, which again can be immersion breaking. And then when I was using my different vehicles, I would see a lot of frame rate drops. In the UI category, I would love to see an option for us to toggle the description of items on and off. If you're using mouse and keyboard, it's fine, but when you're using your controller, you're gonna see the description pop up every time you're moving between objects, and it's blocking the other items on the screen, which can be annoying. You also asked me about controls. Now, in general, for the gameplay, it's smooth both on keyboard and controller, but the biggest difference that you're gonna notice is the moment you start building using the controller. It is 10 times easier to build using mouse and keyboard, so luckily for me, I have both. So when I was regularly playing, I'll be on the controller, and then whenever I wanted to build, I would switch to my mouse. I also had some bugs when I was creating my character. For example, the game just got stuck and it wouldn't let me go back and edit stuff. And this was the only time that I had to do a hard reset. I also saw a translation issue where I think his name is Aurelius. His dialogue was in Chinese rather than English, even though I chose English as my language. And I gotta say, even though we have like more voice acting coming, my game only has Chinese voice acting. However, one of my friends said that she has English, and I was like, wait, what? How? And in this territory, I feel like the characters also need a little bit more like expressive sounds, because right now they just seem very annoying. Like, listen to Solara and what's his name, Bruce, and how they interact with me. All of these issues, I feel like, are gonna be easily squashed during the early access. If you've played the beta, we already saw how much the game has come so far, and I feel like at 30% off as well, I feel like the majority of these things are gonna be squashed by the time the full release comes out, so I'm not really worried about it. With everything I said so far, I haven't even scratched the surface. So here are some fun factors, like the Chrono Arcade, where you can play games like Star Block, which is pretty much Tetris. We've got Furibara, like the snake game that we used to play on our Nokia phones as kids. Who played that as well? That was my obsession. This is also a completionist's dream game. There are so many resources, bugs, fish, recipes, decorations, animals, and more for you to discover and collect. And you can also adopt pets from Stella's shop. There are a lot of cute accessories that you can get for them, as well as outfits. You can buy and summon vehicles. There's an abundance of options in that territory. Build mode, I know a lot of y'all are very excited about it. I'm not like, you know, creativity and that kind of thing is not my strongest suit, so I don't really dabble in it too much, but I know y'all are gonna be going crazy with this. You can rotate, place, remove, and fine-tune items freely. You can move the stairs. You can select multiple items. toggle the grid on and off, change the weather to preview your build. You can even allow overlap. Like, you know how we do the cheat code in Sims for move objects on? Well, you can simply do that from the menu. Now, we talked about the good and the bad, but is this game the one for you? Hello, you gorgeous human being, it's Miss Bubbles. If this video has been helpful so far, do me a favor, squish the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe because I'm just getting started with all the flippin' amazing Starsand Island content that we're gonna have on this channel. So we're gonna go as always as this game is for you if, not for you if, in my verdict. Starsand Island is for you if you love cozy and farming sims that respect your time and energy. If you're someone who gets excited by quality of life features right off the bat, deep progression systems, and having a lot to work towards without feeling rushed. So you're going to be spending a lot of time into this. It's also for you if you enjoy collecting everything, customizing your character and your space, down to your own routine, and embrace that soft life in a world that feels alive and beautiful with secrets in every corner. It's also for you if you like games where you feel like the devs are actually listening to your feedback and you want to be a part of the early access to help shape this into a better experience. However, Starsand Island is not for you if you want something where everything is already unlocked for you, and specifically I would say if early access bugs, performance hiccups, or unfinished systems including the romance system is not complete and that turns you off, then this game at this stage is going to be a skip for you. As for me, and you know, we talk about this all the time, especially during streams, I love connecting with you and letting you know exactly how I feel. When you have played hundreds of farming games since you were a little kid, up to now where this is literally your job and you play them for a living, it becomes really difficult to excuse games that are not good enough. And the thing is, you start to immediately clock when quality of life features are missing, when systems work and when they don't. And somewhere between making all of these videos, learning new games, revisiting older ones, burnout can really get to you, but then a gem like Starsand Island comes along, and we've had many games do that to me last year as well. And you know what? They remind me why I have so much love for these games and why I started to fall in love with them in the first place. I mentioned this briefly in the beginning of the video. Little Miss Bubbles would have freaked out if she knew that a game like this would be possible when she's older. I grew up in the 90s, so back then farming sims weren't made like this. Like, they weren't this expansive. The graphics weren't like that. Like, what do you mean? This looks amazing. But I gotta say, the game can get overwhelming. You can miss out on a lot if you don't pay attention. This is why I made this video and I recommend you watch it next. These are over 50 tips and tricks that you should know before getting started. Thank you to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies who make videos like this possible, and a shout out goes to the Game Dimension, Yugoslav and Stella for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.